Hello, everybody. I want to thank you for coming to this big occasion, the official groundbreaking for the Wallace Tower construction project. Before I start, though, I want to thank our events committee. If you want to raise your hands, Ada Alvarado, Ann Dumazel, Brianna Boulay, Cameron Davis, and Jordan Hughes. I want to thank you for organizing this. And a special thanks to Amanda Koek, the Senior Citizen Director, who allowed us to use the space on such short notice. Thank you. And I want to thank Yoko Ishu. She has moved on, and she usually does the events, and she's usually one person. I needed over 6 people to do what Yoko would do on her own. And Yoko wishes she could be here, but she sends her warm regards, and she was with us for 6 years. We're going to miss her, and thank you, Yoko, for everything that you have done. But I have to say, I am glad we have the mayor here, the state rep, the state senator, representatives from the city council, and other people, because I need to lodge an official complaint. Will these groundbreakings stop in the city of Fitchburg? You got groundbreakings, and we have ribbon cuttings. You are making havoc, Mayor, and the rest of you with my schedule. And I'll tell you, that library groundbreaking last week was phenomenal, wasn't it? I'm looking around, and I talked to one of our city councilors and to Chair Tom Hughes, and I said, within a 5-minute walking distance of the library, there's over $100 million of construction that's happening. That is phenomenal. And I have to tell you, there is a renaissance in Fitchburg, and it's been going on a number of years. And we are so happy that the Fitchburg Housing Authority is part of it with this Wallace Tower project and others. And I'll tell you, Liz Murphy and your team have been doing a phenomenal job. There's so many great things that are happening in the city, and that's everybody, the business community, other people. But it's fantastic, and we're so happy to be part of it, and this is continuing that tradition. And this project, I believe, is over $24 million, one of the largest public housing development projects this year or in many years from the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities. But you got to ask, why do we have these groundbreakings? Why do we have this? And to me, it's to mark a milestone of the vision of why we did the construction. And we have a great vision for Wallace Tower. And it began many years ago in 2019 when, with Andrew Skoog, Andy, the Deputy Director, and myself, stayed up late for weeks working on the MOD Phase grant application. And MOD Phase was designed to transform senior public housing. We live in the great Commonwealth of Massachusetts, where we have a special public housing program that's run by the state. I think there's only 3 in the entire United States, and I'm so proud that we have that. And MOD Phase was to transform senior public housing. And we came up with this innovative idea for Wallace Tower, the biggest building in the Twin City area with 130 units of housing. And that was to combine affordable housing with living better, healthier means, making more walk-in showers, expanding the community space, having a health clinic. And thankfully, the Housing and Livable Communities, the Executive Office, funded that. And in December of 2019, we had then Lieutenant Governor Polito visit us, because I think it was the largest award at $9 million. And many of you in this room were there. I think the state rep reminded me, he was a city councilor when that occurred. And it was just a phenomenal success. And over the years, we built on that. We've added air source heat pumps to the building. We did the exterior. And now we are here many, many years later for the official groundbreaking. And we're going to make this housing for our seniors, our disabled, and our veterans the best in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And our concept of helping people live longer and live better in an affordable means should take off at every senior community, because that's what we all want. And, many of you know that I grew up in affordable housing as a young man, as a boy, and I thought it was a phenomenal place where my family could save up and buy their first home. But I got another story why I'm passionate about senior housing. My grandfather was in World War II in the Pacific, and he came back a broken man, like so many of our veterans of that war. And he soothed himself with alcohol, and my family became destitute because of that. And when he died, my grandmother was able to get into senior housing in New Haven, Connecticut. And if it wasn't for senior housing, my grandmother would have been destitute. And this is something that I'm very passionate about. We need to help our families and our seniors. We owe that to them and our veterans and our disabled. And about Wallace, when it was constructed in 1974, they called it the Great Pour. There were cement trucks lined up all the way down Main Street with cement trucks to build Wallace Tower. In fact, it was so evolutionary at the time that they actually had postcards, and I have one right here that we found. If you lived in Fitchburg at the time, in the 70s, you would send out postcards of Wallace Tower. And that's how much of an impact it had on the community at the time. But we are proud that we're continuing that legacy, and we're investing even more. And this fusion of affordable housing and senior health care is something that should be a model for the rest of the country. I regret to say that beginning January 1 of next year, my generation begins entering senior citizen status at 60 years old. I've asked for our politicians, elected officials to stop this, but they cannot turn the clock forward or backwards. So Generation X next year begins to march into senior citizen status. And I am happy and proud that I live in a community and in this Commonwealth that wants to help its seniors, its veterans, and disabled. I want to thank all of you for coming today. This is a big event, and it means a lot for the people of Fitchburg and the surrounding communities. Thank you. Now, I know everybody's got this list of all these speakers, and to be honest, somebody said, Doug, you got all these speakers. There was no way I could limit the number of people that have helped us. This list should be double of everybody that's been part of this success. And I'm going to start off with Kevin Parse, Senior Program Coordinator from Unitel Corporation, which helped us out with a good donation to help us with the air source heat pumps at Wallace, which was completed this year. Kevin? Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you all. Again, my name is Kevin Parse. I'm a Senior Program Coordinator with Unitil. We're very proud to be here, and thank you, Doug, for the inclusion. We're proud to be included with the group of contributors here today, and proud to be part of a lot of the great work that's happening in the city and at Wallace Towers individually. As Doug mentioned, this past March, the Housing Authority completed a project upgrading electric baseboard heating systems to ductless mini-split heat pumps that provide efficient heating and cooling. And for Unitil, we're proud to contribute the largest incentive amount that the company's ever put forward, which is $750,000 towards a $3 million improvement to those heating and cooling systems. So we're very proud of that. Those systems came complete with controls that allow the Housing Authority to monitor the usage and efficiency and comfort of those systems. When we move forward with this project, the projection in savings was 400,000 kilowatt hours per year. So as we continue to monitor that usage, proud to say we're right on track, and the plan is working. So we're proud to see that, and we'll look forward to following up when we hit next March. As you know, and we can tell with the weather outside, we're approaching the heating months where the bulk of those savings will come in. So again, we're proud to be included today. Thank you all for being here, and enjoy the rest of the event. Thank you.
And I'd like to say that this project actually combines affordable housing, health, and environmental and climate issues as well. So it's really a three-part project. Next, I'd like to introduce Christina Bostek, Senior Vice President of PACE Programs. Fallon Healthcare has a whole floor at Wallace Tower to help our tenants with various issues, and they're a great asset for our resident service coordinators and our housing program managers. Christine, thank you for coming today. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug, for the invitation. Very flattered to be a part of this momentous occasion today, so thank you. As Doug mentioned, my name is Chris Bostek, and I'm the Senior Vice President of PACE Programs at Fallon Health, which is a not-for-profit payer and provider of care, serving more than 100,000 members across Massachusetts and beyond. As a healthcare services organization, we understand that where a person lives impacts their overall health and well-being. and this is especially true for older adults. Having a safe, affordable place to live that can be integrated with health and long-term care services is key to helping all of you remain in the community. With a long history of serving older adults, including nearly 30 years of providing Summit Elder Care, our program of all-inclusive care for the elderly, or as we call it, PACE, aging in place is something we hear every day that older adults try to desire to succeed at. Fitchburg Housing also understands that a nursing home doesn't have to be the only option. They value the impact that supportive housing units offer and have been an early leader in this vision. In fact, nearly a decade ago, and I was fortunate enough, along with Sheila Dupree, our director of the Leominster PACE Center, we had an opportunity to sit with Doug and the leadership team to form a partnership to explore how PACE and housing could innovate together. Fitchburg Housing's dedication and commitment to the participants of our Summit Elder Care PACE program over the years has enabled dozens of individuals to remain safely in their homes at Wallace Towers and Day Street. In fact, we have 2 PACE participants who have resided at Wallace Towers since 2015. An incredible testament to the impact the collaboration between healthcare and housing partners can have. We are very excited to be a part of the groundbreaking today and are thrilled about this modernization, and also that there will be additional housing units available to continue this partnership, allowing more residents the opportunity to have their medical and social needs met at home. We congratulate Fitchburg Housing on this forward-thinking project. You are truly enhancing the residents' quality of life to live longer and to live better. And we can't wait to celebrate along with all of you. Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak today.
Thank you. And the new expanded Wallace is going to have a place for recreational areas, a health clinic. It's going to be just phenomenal, and we're going to continue what you have been doing there and expand upon it. Our next speaker is Noel Pluff. He's the former tenant president at Wallace Tower. He was here in 2019. We had the original grant. And I have to be honest with you, Noel is a good friend. This chandelier is not here for me, it's for Noel. We knew he was speaking. And Noel is very passionate about his community. He loves Fitchburg, and he's been a partner with us throughout this entire process. Noel, thank you for coming again for a 4th time, I believe, speaking on this project. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. As you know, my name is Noel Pluff. I was the former president. It's good to see so many of my neighbors, and I would be remit if I did not point out to our current president of the Tenants Association. If I could ask you to wave your hand, Lorraine. There she is. That is our current president. And I've been making this speech now for years. And what it comes down to is an explanation. I mean, my neighbors know this, but even though Wallace Tower is made of bricks and mortar and reinforced concrete, and it stands so many hundreds of feet in the air, it is nevertheless our village. It's very much our village. It is Fitchburg's elderly shtetl, and we can't come and go without looking out for each other. But who also looks out for us and provides not only the sweetest apartments, but also there are city services, and there's the culture and arts, and just the enjoyment of living in such a dynamic city as the city of Fitchburg, especially now. Because I sit on my balcony and I hear the construction going on down below, but I can look across the street and see where there's new HVAC systems going into the YMCA, and beyond that, some homeowner has invested thousands of dollars into their new roof and new chimneys. So this is a dynamic city. And I'm eager to have this, obviously, this work to be finished, but there will be more of us. There's a lot of apartments, a lot of vacancies that will need to be filled. So there'll be more heads on beds, Mayor. And this is all a good thing. But thank you, the people of this community. All right.
Again, it's taken us over 5 years to get to this point, and talking to the residents, we know it's been a long process, and a lot of residents thought it was never going to happen. And Noel was one of our partners to reassure them we were working diligently on this project, and there's actually construction happening. And I would imagine that there's probably some that are saying there's too much noise going on, but that's progress.
Yeah.
And we look forward to having this concluded in less than 18 months. After a very competitive bidding process, the Fitchburg Housing Authority, working with Housing and Livable Communities, we selected GVW as the contractor. We've been very, very pleased. In fact, Andrew said to me yesterday, Andrew Skoog said they're ahead of schedule. I said, what do you mean they're ahead of schedule? That means we got to do some more work. And working with their GVW's team, they've been phenomenal. No complaints, very professional. And we're excited they're part of this process. And I want to thank George Wattendorf, the president of the company, for appearing today and for all the help that his staff have been doing and for those hard hats we're going to wear later today. Thank you, George. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug, and thank you to everyone here for having us. On behalf of GVW, I'm George Wattendorf. Mark Frazier over there, superintendent. Gary Littles, assistant super, and Dat Nguyen is the project manager on the job. And we'd like to, again, thank everybody at Fitchburg Housing for having us. And also, Doug, thank you to you and your team for organizing this great groundbreaking and inviting us here. And I'd also like to thank the city of Fitchburg and Mayor Squalia for having us and accommodating the modernization of the Wallace Tower as well. And then lastly, but most importantly, I think, is thanking the residents of the tower and working with us, because yes, we are the ones making a lot of noise at times, and we really do appreciate all of the cooperation and teamwork to getting this project done together. So it really does mean a lot to us and to Mark and Gary and Dat. And then we do absolutely look forward to a successful project everyone can be proud of, and that the citizens of Fitchburg can take pride of and call home. So again, thank you all, and thank you for having us here.
George, thank you for wearing Fitchburg red. I did not, but thank you for wearing it. I got to mention on the construction side, Bob Watt is here from Housing and Livable Communities. He's our construction manager. Bob, thank you for getting us to this point and moving the project forward. Bob's been working with the Fitchburg Housing Authority for many years, and he knows us, he knows our work ethic, and we're so happy you're still here with us and working on this project, and you've been a phenomenal asset for us. And so I want to thank our next, I have a boss, I have a board of commissioners that I respond to, and they've been phenomenal in the work that they have done, and they're sitting at that table. Thank you. And we have a chair, Tom Hughes. And the board has been involved in this project from its very inception, and they encouraged Andrew Skoog and the rest of our team to apply for this in 2019. And this board is dedicated, and we're looking at tens and tens of millions of dollars of construction and advancement of many different types of programs. We are not the same organization we were in January in 2019. And that's because we've had a phenomenal board. And I want to thank Tom Hughes, who's our new interim chair, for coming today, and thank you, Tom.
Good morning. First, I want to thank our federal partners, our state partners, our local partners, but most of all, our private partners, because they could invest their money somewhere else, but they have committed to being a partner with the Fitchburg Housing Authority. And we want to say thank you to all of you who took time out to be here and to contribute to this much needed project. Secondly, I want to acknowledge my colleagues on the board, if you will, Commissioner Goodwin, Commissioner Basilio, and Commissioner Spillane. So come on, clap your hands. And also would like to acknowledge our former chairman who put in many, many years of hard work and labor and staying up late at night to make sure that this project, not only this project, but other projects will come to pass. Please help me honor at this time our former chairman, Linda Byrne. A few years ago, when I was approached by our former mayor, Steve DiNatale, to serve on the Board of Commissioners here in the city of Fitchburg for the Fitchburg Housing Authority, I said to him I would not serve on any board that would not be about the residents of the city of Fitchburg. I committed to him that if I am on the board, that I will make sure that Fitchburg and its residents are number one priority. So a couple of weeks after that, I received the official notification from Governor Baker that I had been approved to serve on the Board of Commissioners for the Fitchburg Housing Authority. So it is a great honor to stand before you today as we break ground on this $22 million modernization of Wallace Tower. This project is unique, not only in its scale, but in its focus on creating a safe, accessible, and a supportive environment for senior residents of our community. Wallace Tower has been a cornerstone of Fitchburg for over 50 years, and this transformation will ensure that it remains a place where our seniors can live longer, healthier, and a more independent life. The people behind this project have been extraordinary, from our partners at the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities to the City of Fitchburg, and those, the funds from the ARPA Act, $125,000 that they committed. But as we celebrate today, we must remember that this project is just one step toward addressing the critical housing needs of our underserved population. We need more developments like this to ensure that every member of our community, especially those who are economically vulnerable, and make sure that they have access to safe and affordable housing. Housing is a basic human need. And the projects like this one are essential to fostering stability and dignity in our communities. Let this groundbreaking be a reminder of the work still ahead. Let this groundbreaking encourage all of us to believe that if we work together, more can be done. There's a Chinese proverb that says, many hands make light work. And so I encourage all of us to stay together and focus on the project ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Hughes, and thank you, the board. Thank you very much for your dedication. When I started in 2019 at the Housing Authority, I wanted to make sure that the Housing Authority worked very well with city officials and city department heads. And we have done that. We work well with the health department, the fire department, and other departments. And with the fire department, they've been very actively involved at Wallace Tower and helping us on many different issues. And we had issues a couple of months ago, I think, which led to the final granting of the money. Because besides the affordability and the accessibility and the energy conservation, Wallace Tower is going to be more safer for our residents, for our employees, and for public safety personnel that have got to respond to emergencies. And I really want to thank the fire department for helping us out in various endeavors and emergency as Wallace Tower and some of the fire watches that we've had to do over the last couple of months. And now it's going to be remodeled and it's going to be safer for everybody. And Chief, thank you very much for attending today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doug.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. So it could be argued that this whole entire project really started because of one faulty fire pump. And for those who don't know what a fire pump is, in a high-rise building such as 54 Wallace Ave, that fire pump will supply firefighters with the necessary volume of water and the water pressures that we need to do our job during firefighting operations. Proper staffing and equipment would be ineffective without the proper volume, proper water that we need, water pressures. So that's why we require these fire pumps. Firefighters use standpipes that are located in the stairwell. So just say if we had the misfortune of having a fire on the 12th floor today, firefighters would climb those stairs to the 12th floor, connect into those standpipes with their hose lines, and then proceed into the floor of the apartment with the fire and try to put that fire out. Sprinkler systems also use these fire pumps. One thing that's not really known about sprinkler system is the majority of sprinkler systems are not engineered to extinguish the fire. They're only there to contain the fire and keep it from spreading until the fire department shows up and is able to stretch their hose line and extinguish the fire. So these fire pumps are very, very important for fire protection. So talking with Doug and his team, they quickly understood this importance of a properly working fire pump, and they also knew the importance of a properly working sprinkler system and a fire alarm system. Doug and his team, along with the help from Liz Murphy and her Community Development Department and support from the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, have elevated this project from one single fire pump to a complete renovation of not only the fire system, but other things that are really important and critical outside of fire safety scope. So at this time, the Fitchburg Fire Department would like to thank Doug Bushman and the Fitchburg Housing Authority Commission and its staff, which the fire department works with almost on a daily basis, and they do an incredible job. Liz Murphy and her Community Development Department and the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities for providing the residents with the most up-to-date fire protection and for providing the Fitchburg Fire with the proper equipment and systems in place that we need to perform our jobs safely and efficiently. So thank you all.
I have to say, I know a lot more about fire pumps than I ever thought I would need to know over the last couple of months. And I want to thank our Director of Construction and Maintenance, Bruce Budrick, who really involved himself in the fire pump issue. It was a very intense couple of weeks, and I'm glad it was solved. And Chief, thank you and your team as well. Next, and I had to include this person, City Councilor Sally Cragen. Sally cares so much about this community, and she would volunteer at Wallace with her poetry readings, and she would bring her cat. And during my crazy busy day, I always tried to attend the poetry readings. And your genuineness of wanting to help the people of Fitchburg and the residents of Wallace Tower just shows. And I knew I had to include you on this list. And Councilor, thank you for attending, for all the help. And I cannot wait for when the new community room is finished and you can come and we can have even better attendance and just a greater time. But Sally, thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, Doug. Thank you. Man, I'm so happy to hear what Noel said. We can't come and go without looking out for one another. We can't come and go without looking out for one another. And I've been thinking about the word nostos, N-O-S-T-O-S. That's the Greek word for home and homecoming. And from the word nostos, we get the word nostalgia, which is a yearning for the past. That's a very human condition. Homer, the great poet of 900 BCE, famously wrote about Odysseus, right? His own journey to Nostos took him around the known world, back home. An odyssey is when you come back home. Now, many of my friends at Wallace Towers have had their own journeys, and they've all had remarkable journeys. Cheryl, Noel, Ed, Mr. Perfect, he wrote a poem called Mr. Perfect. Alan, Peter, some friends who have passed, like Bill and Sarah. their remarkable journeys have taken them to Wallace Towers. And I met them all as when Doug said, we started a poetry read aloud during COVID. It was a way for people to connect with one another during a time of extreme social isolation, which was not healthy. And I want to thank Paula Giaquinto, retired Assistant Superintendent of Schools for Fitchburg Public Schools, and Kathy Brady. And I know many people in this room know those two ladies, and it's not just me and my cat, it's a powerhouse of people who come in and bring this poetry to the residents and information about taking care of pets and creating a sense of homecoming. But they couldn't have that without the actual building, right? They couldn't have it without the building. And so the building becomes the home, and we can feel nostalgic for, when we're away from where we are. But I'm really thrilled, and I'm glad that everyone in Wallace Towers gets to come home to a new, improved, enhanced home. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor, and I will be there for the next poetry reading of the new Wallace Tower. Thank you. Next, Emily Cooper from the Executive Office of Elder Affairs. And she's been really in the nexus of affordable housing and senior health care and how that could work together. And with the new Wallace Tower, we want to reduce the number of our residents who need to go to a nursing home. That's real savings to the taxpayers of Massachusetts. I think the cost of a nursing home, is 6 figures, if not larger, for a whole year. And if we can just save a couple of our seniors so they can age in place in their community, it'll make for better lives for them and their families, and it's going to save the taxpayers real money. Emily Cooper, thank you for coming today. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. I'm Emily Cooper. Thank you for having me here today, and thank you for inviting me, and I'm here to represent the Executive Office of Elder Affairs. And thank you for the lovely foliage. I know that wasn't planned by any of you, but it's just a perfect day. I've been looking around in this great space, and the fact that you're in the senior center, and I would encourage you to look at the thrift shop on the way out. It kind of makes your village even a little bit bigger, and it's really nice to see everybody out today. I want to take us back just a little bit in that I remember working with HLC, which was then the Department of Housing and Community Development, and they called us and they said, we have this idea for renovating senior housing, but we don't want to just do bricks and mortar. Is there something else we can do? And the Executive Office of Elder Affairs, as Doug said so eloquently, is really invested in making sure that your housing is safe and affordable, but also giving you the services and supports so that you can stay there for as long as you want to. We envision a state in which every person has the tools and resources and support they need to fully embrace the aging experience. For Doug, I guess that's coming soon, and that includes access to affordable and safe housing. He doesn't have readers yet. When I walked in this morning, I couldn't find my readers, and I thought, oh my, this is going to be a problem. And then I thought, I bet someone in this room has ones I can borrow. So I think we're among friends. So we designed this mod phase program in which HLC was going to give out the money, but we also helped develop the applications. And we were here in 2019 when the award was made, pre-COVID, in a small room down the street with great cake. And so when Doug called me and he said, don't worry, we'll have cake again, I said, all right, I'll be there. The improvements planned for Wallace Tower include, as we heard, enhanced safety systems. Did not know that about what the fire chief shared. Very interesting. Reduced physical barriers. You heard about the wheel-in showers and expanded community spaces. And I'm really, really excited to see the synergy between the space and the providers like Fallon. You heard from Chris Bostic, who makes it so that you can stay where you want to be for as long as you want to. We call those kind of place-based supports, things like the service coordinator, things like the services that PACE will bring or that Fallon will bring, wellness programming, community events, fun things like that, that make it a place to be that you want to be in, but also stop you from doing things like, I'm going to call, I stubbed my toe and so I'm going to call the ambulance. Instead, you're going to call your friends in the village who might say, hey, let's call your doctor. or let's figure out how we can solve this together. So we found that actually these services that make a village, which we call place-based supports, actually lower healthcare costs. And so we are very invested in not only keeping people healthy, but also providing the services that they need. So these services that we've heard are going to include the creation of a medical clinic, rooms for resident services, and that'll allow people to really remain connected to their community. By investing in Wallace Tower, we are investing in a model of living that prioritizes the well-being of our older adults, ensuring that they have the resources and support they need to fully embrace the aging experience. I'm going to go a little off book for a second because Unitel is here. And earlier this week, we actually signed a deal with 5 utility companies, Unitel being one of them, Berkshire Gas, Liberty, National Grid, and Eversource, so that the folks in Wallace Tower and the folks in Fitchburg in general who are on Medicaid or receive other public benefits such as food stamps or SNAP will automatically be enrolled in utility discount programs without having to do any paperwork. So you will have more money in your pocket, which means you can shop more at the thrift shop down the hall there. So this is truly a community effort. Thank you for all the partners here and for your unwavering support of this project.
Thank you, Emily. We will always have cake, and I left it to our committee to get the cake, and hopefully the cake is red. Yes, Fitchburg red, the cake, ladies. Thank you. The Fitchburg Housing Authority has a phenomenal relationship with the Executive Office of Housing Livable Communities, formerly DHCD. They are our partners. A lot of housing authorities only have HUD housing. To be honest, and we talk about this among the staff, we prefer HLC public housing. I know if I have a problem, if there's a problem in one of our buildings, another issue, that I have a partner in Boston that I can talk to that's responsive. And over the years, it's been phenomenal. And the HUD model is very different. I prefer the HLC model, and we're in this together. They want us to succeed, and we want them to succeed. And they will invest in communities and housing authorities that work very hard and fulfill their obligations to the state. Undersecretary Ben Stone, who I've worked with for many, many years, has been a phenomenal partner in the resurgence of the Fitchburg Housing Authority. I remember meeting with him in February of 2019 when there were some interesting times at the Fitchburg Housing Authority, and he made a commitment of time and resources for us to move forward to where we are right now. And without his team, himself and his team, we wouldn't be here today. And Ben, I want to thank you and your staff, and Ben, and thank you for your staff for everything you've done. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Doug, for having me back to Wallace Tower to celebrate this critical project finally moving forward. I remember being back here, as a few speakers mentioned, back in December 2019 for one of these Doug's signature events, celebrating 7 Mod Phase awards to rehabilitate state-aided public housing, serving the elderly while bringing in needed services. I was joking with Emily that I've had 2 kids since then. We're like completely different people in the course of this project, just getting to groundbreaking. Most of the projects are completed or construction, but this Wallace Tower, I think, is the final to get into construction and also the largest, and we're so excited to get it underway. HLC and the Fitchburg Housing Authority have already moved forward parts of the project, making repairs to the exterior of Wallace Tower, and as Unitel mentioned, installing air source heat pumps in all units with a significant contribution from the utility. This final phase, costing over $25 million of state capital funds, alongside federal ARPA funds allocated to both the city and state, will comprehensively rehabilitate this over 50-year-old high-rise, including modernizing, I believe, all kitchen and bathrooms in the building, renovating common areas, providing the space for a clinic, renovating the community room, adding security cameras, updating the fire alarm system, and many other items to modernize the building as well. So I'd like to, of course, as I've said, many people to thank on this project. Of course, Fitchburg Housing Authority and staff for their perseverance on this project, the residents for their patience and contributions, the city of Fitchburg and the delegation for their support, the contractor and designer, and the EOHLC project team, some of whom are here, including Bob Watt, the construction advisor, Fatima Razak, the director of the Borough of Housing Development and Construction, as well as the project manager, Cindy Zabriskie, and architects Simone Early and John Olson. So this project will ensure that the Wallace Towers, I believe, put into service in 1973, and the Fitchburg Housing Authority can continue to provide a safe, dignified housing community for seniors and non-elderly disabled for hopefully the next 50 years and beyond. The Healy-Driscoll administration is committed to preserving our unique resource that Doug talked about of the over 43,000 units of state-aided public housing that no other state has, serving families, elderly, non-elderly disabled, as well as clients of Department of Mental Health and Department of Developmental Services. Sadly, I think we all know this portfolio is aging rapidly. Wallace Tower is actually one of the somewhat younger developments in our portfolio, sad to say, and has suffered from decades of underinvestment. But the Healy-Driscoll administration is focused on that. The last capital budget included a 30% increase to our capital funding for projects like this, a 45% increase since the Healy administration came in 2023. And the recently enacted Affordable Homes Act includes record levels of authorization for public housing preservation and redevelopment, as well as policy amendments to make housing authorities' jobs just a little bit easier. So hopefully with the more resources with our partners in the legislature and partnerships with people like Fallon Pace and Elder Affairs and cities and towns, we can continue to do even more great projects like this one. Thank you.
Thank you. I've heard these events called many things. I like signature events of Doug Bushman. I like that very much. They're not dog and pony shows. They're signature events. And, I have to be honest with you, these are important for the community. Great things are happening. I think that our problem in government, we don't really shout that out as much. And our interaction with the business community, our local chamber, has been phenomenal. And this community is really rapidly in a renaissance. And thank you very much. Thank you. Next, State Representative Michael Kusmarek. As I said earlier, he was a city councilor when we initially received the funding. The state rep and his staff have been with us all the time. Every time we need something, they listen to our concerns. They're available. We work on so many different constituent issues. And the state rep has been just an ally with us, and the bond bill has been mentioned. And I tell you, he's been such an asset to us. And I'll tell you, State Rep, we are so proud that you're here after all these years, that you can join us. And without you and the other members of the General Court and our state senator, this would not be happening. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm so delighted to be here. I really want to thank the Undersecretary for joining us here today and all of his support, even before he was an Undersecretary, and really putting in the work to ensure that the residents and the staff of Fitchburg Housing Authority have safe and dignified housing for everybody. And certainly the team at Elder Affairs for all of the work that they do. So thank you, Emily, for being with us today. I think you've heard that phrase a few times, safe and dignified, but also accessible. I think it's so key. For so many who are in our housing authorities across the Commonwealth, but particularly here in Fitchburg and in Wallace Towers, they are folks that have made this community what it is. They made the foundations of a vibrant community. And as they start to age, they shouldn't have to look to go elsewhere. They should be able to find that safe, dignified, accessible housing right here in the downtown. And it should reflect the hard work and the efforts that they've put in throughout an entire lifetime, that you have put in throughout your entire lifetime, to make our community what it is, and to set up our community for where it's going next. And so that housing should look like and feel like and reflect that work and those efforts and your commitment to this community. And I'm so thankful to our Fitchburg Housing Authority for the work that they've done. And as we have a day like today, and you've heard from so many folks behind me, it takes a village, and it takes an entire community being all in. Doug began this event by talking about just the renaissance that's happening on Main Street and in our downtown in Fitchburg. From one end of Main Street to the other, more than $100 million currently in play right now in construction today. That's absolutely remarkable. And it's on every aspect of who we are as a downtown. from artist preference housing and low-income housing to workforce housing recently completed at Morin Square, to a public library, to market rate housing with private developers dotted along Main Street, and more specifically today, to our public housing authorities. This is truly the bread and butter of who we are as a community. And I think what's so unique to what's happening in this renaissance is it's not leaving anybody out. We're talking about every end of the spectrum, of the socioeconomic spectrum, of the age spectrum of who we are. We're investing in our community for the future with children and our library, and we're investing in our seniors and those who have made our community the joyous community that it is. But there's so many people to thank here today. You know, I look out, I know we've already recognized, but the longtime former chair of the Fitchburg Housing Authority, Linda Byrne. Thank you, Linda, for all of your work, sacrifices and investment, and sweat equity in getting us to where we are today. Certainly all of the Housing Authority, I'm looking out at our maintenance team, who do the work, the backbreaking work day in and day out. Thank you for everything that you do. And certainly the Housing Authority team that just works day in and day out to make our residents feel welcome and at home. And then certainly a number of you heard from Councilor Sally Cragen earlier, but there's a number of city councilors here who really stepped up to the plate at a critical time alongside two mayoral administrations to deliver critical funding to make this project happen. So in addition to Councilor Cragen, we have Councilor Derek Cruz, Councilor Bernie Schultz, Councilor Beth Walsh, Councilor Paul Boschman, I see, and the hometown, the home ward councilor, if you will, who represents Wallace Towers, Councilor Andy Van Hazinga. Thank you to all of our councilors who are here today. And also a member of the Fitchburg Disability Commission, and also somebody who really has just put in a tremendous amount of work in our community, spanning the past couple of decades. Former Councilor Nick Carboni, I see in the audience. Thank you, Nick, for being here. And I think that's the microcosm and the essence of who we are as a community. It's everybody on the other side of the microphone and the podium who's been putting in the sweat equity and the time to make today possible. And I know that with all of you in the audience and all of the folks behind me, we'll have many more days like this in our future. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Representative. When I started in 2019, I went to the Fitchburg City Council with our Pathway to Success plan. And the state rep was the city council president at the time, and he ushered it through unanimous votes. Our mayor was a city councilor at the time, and we used that to go to Boston to advocate for more money. Thank you for advocacy for us, the Fitchburg Housing Authority, and its residents and our staff. Next, our State Senator John Cronin. I talk about our seniors and our disabled, but Wallace is going to help our veterans. I'm an Army veteran. We have a number of veterans here. Our great state senator is also a veteran. I'm enlisted. He was an officer, but we'll excuse that, a West Point graduate. But the state senator and his staff have always answered our call. And when the state senator ran for office, he actually reached out to me. He toured our properties. He asked really pointed questions. I said, okay, that's why he went to West Point. This is a smart guy. He knows the issues, and he wants to learn if he doesn't know something. But State Senator Cronin, thank you very much for coming today. Thank you.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I'll be very brief. I hope we can leave today, and everybody leaves this ceremony and this groundbreaking with a feeling of really profound optimism. As so many people before me have mentioned, there is something special going on in the city of Fitchburg. And just walk on Main Street, the Fitchburg Arts Community, the library, today the groundbreaking at Wallace Towers, the market rate housing production that is occurring at the beginning of the street. All of these things have created such a profound sense of momentum and the future is bright, and this is what building a brighter future looks like. And I'll end by just saying today is about the residents. It's about a commitment to the residents. It's about building a place that is going to be worthy of all of you and worthy of all your contributions to our great city. So thank you so much, and I can't wait to be here for the ribbon cutting.
Thank you, Senator. As I said before, in 2019, we went before the City Council to have them support our renovation plan for the Housing Authority. And on the City Council was Councilor Sam Squalia, who is now the mayor. When she was elected and before she was sworn in, we gave her and her staff an orientation about housing, and we said that probably over 60% of the calls to her office would be calls about housing. And I think that probably tracks almost correctly. But I want to thank the mayor and her team. The mayor has been helping us throughout the last couple of months. She's been an ally. It's continuing that interaction with the city. And I want to thank the mayor for coming today. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. It's my honor as the mayor of Fitchburg to stand here today as we are about to break ground on the long-awaited Wallace Tower renovation and expansion project here in town Fitchburg. As one of the largest renovations wards that the state has provided, this project in Fitchburg is a game changer, helping our seniors to age in place and age with grace, living longer and living better. Today marks another milestone towards modernization of Wallace Tower into a residence that truly meets the changing needs of our seniors. Thanks to our application to the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, under the MOD phase program, we'll be adding modern walk-in showers and other amenities that prioritize comfort and accessibility. And this initiative goes beyond renovations. With funding set for upgrading the entire building, we are focusing on essential updates to ventilations and safety systems, ensuring that our residents can live easy and breathe easy. Our newly expanded community room will surely be a hotspot for socialization and pet therapy and activities, giving everyone a chance to connect. We'll also be adding a health clinic area right on site, making it easier for our seniors to stay connected to their well-being and access to health care all under this one roof. Our collective mission is clear. We want to reduce the need for seniors to be forced to seek care in nursing homes. By enhancing living conditions at Wallace Tower, we're allowing residents to stay in their homes and our community longer, where they can enjoy their friendships and their familiar surroundings. This project is a model to follow for independence, for dignity, and improved quality of life. And on top of all of that, we're adding the air source heat pumps, which will keep our interior environments warm or cool and comfy, while helping that the state reach its decarbonization goals. This is a win-win, keeping our residents cozy and our environment healthy. So as we break ground today, remember that this project isn't just about construction or renovation. It's about building a better future for our seniors and for our whole community. We're demonstrating Fitchburg's not just a great place to live today, but a great place to grow into the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, and I want to thank you and Liz Murphy and your team for that nice check that you have over there. Thank you very much. The city has been part of this, and thank you. And I want to shout out to our great Chamber of Commerce. Besides all the government money being invested, it seems like when I open up the newspaper, there's a new business restaurant that's opening up in Fitchburg and the Twin Cities. We have a phenomenal Chamber of Commerce. Roy, you're doing a phenomenal job, and your staff. Thank you. Before we break and go to actually Wallace for the actual shovel ceremony and the benediction by the Reverend Laura Goodwin, I want to thank my staff. Can you raise your hands, everybody from the Fitchburg Housing Authority? and opportunities for hope as well. Thank you. We have a phenomenal staff. We've been through so much over the last 5 years. And without all of you, and if you're here, if you're working for the Fitchburg Housing Authority, then you've earned it. We have the best staff of any housing authority in Massachusetts. And I tell you, we wouldn't be doing this without you. HLC and the city of Fitchburg would not be investing in us if we didn't have a team. And I'll tell you, Andrew Skoog, Andrew, stand up, please, take a bow. Andrew has been phenomenal. He's been my partner for many years. And I have to tell you, he always comes to me, we go back and forth on ideas, and most of the time he's right, but I love it when he's wrong, and I tell the young man, you got that. But Andrew, thank you. Thank your team. Thank you very much. To the maintenance staff in red, you're the best. Thank you. So now we're going to break. And for those who could join us and the speakers, you can have a shovel and as many hard hats as we have. We'll do the shovel ceremony, and we have cake at Wallace. We always have cake. Thank you, everybody, for attending this today. Thank you. Everybody, thank you for coming for the official groundbreaking. We have the Reverend Goodwin, who's going to do a benediction for the safety of those who live at Wallace Tower and the great workers who are doing the work here. Reverend Goodwin, thank you for coming today. Sure.
Good afternoon. My name is Laura Goodwin, and I'm the rector of Christ Church right over there in Fitchburg. And I'm really overjoyed to be asked to give this benediction today because this is my neighborhood. My family has lived and grown up right here at the end of Mechanic Street. We've been part of this community for many, many years, and it's so wonderful to see the life that's returning to this community, and especially the care that's being given to all folks in our community that's made evident in this renovation project. So I'm blessed to be asked to speak on behalf of the ecumenical spiritual community because I believe that no matter how you name the divine or if you name the divine cares about the needs and concerns of all people, and particularly that all people should have a safe and comfortable place to live. So let us pray. Gracious God, your love for us is made real through your provision of all the essentials we need to live: food, clothing, shelter, and love. And you call those of us who have an abundance of these essentials to partner with you to provide them for those who do not, so that they may know your love and live in safety, security, and hope. With grateful hearts, we come together today to celebrate a new beginning for the Wallace Towers community. We give thanks for the many federal, state, and local officials who work tirelessly to secure the resources to renovate the property. And we ask your blessing as we break ground on this project. Bless the project managers and those with oversight. Give wisdom, compassion, and insight as they direct the renovation. Bless and protect those who do the physical work of this renovation. Give them skill and satisfaction in a job well done. And bless the residents as they deal with the disruptions that will inevitably occur as the renovations are done. Give them patience and perspective as they look forward to a safer, healthier, and more comfortable place to call. All this we ask in your name. Amen.
Thank you.
And then on the count of 3, we'll throw it in the air. All right. Ready? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yay!